So in this video we see the solutions of exercise 6.2 from the exercise book on Access. In particular, in this exercise we use the file winery.accdb. So let's see first of all the database. Okay, so we have 4 tables. We have members supply grapes. Supplied grapes are used in wine productions to produce some particular wines. Okay, we have this loop because members, the cellar master in the wine production, can be one of the members of the cooperative society. So let's see the first exercise. So the first query 01, is build a query that returns for each regional wine the corresponding hectoliters produced between 2009 and 2010, sorted in ascending order by wine name and year. So let's go to Access, query wizard. Okay. So from table regional wine, we have the wine name. And from table wine production, we have the production year and the hectoliters. Next, we call this query Q01. We open the query modify design in the design view. Finish. So first of all, we have to set a criteria on the year because we want to consider only productions between 2009 and 2010. So between 2009 and 2010. And then we want to sort by name and then by year. So Excel uses the column on the left, the first column on the left to sort, and then in case the other columns. So run, and this is the result. Save and close. Second point, Q02, build a query that given a wine production specified by the user, so the user has to specify the production ID. The query returns the grape supplier. In this case, we mean the code, the member ID of the person, the member who provided the grapes, the grape name, and the corresponding quantity. So create query wizard. Okay. So the first table we have to select is wine production because we have to select the production ID, and that will be provided by the user. Then from grape supplying, we have the owner, so the member of the cooperative society who provided the grapes, grape name and quantity. Next, Q02, modify the query design, finish. Okay, so here we don't have to, the only thing that we have to do is to ask the user to provide the production ID. So in the field criteria of the column where you have the field production ID, square brackets provide production ID, close square bracket. Now you can run the query. Let's consider, for instance, the production ID set 2010_02. Okay, so you see that we have owner M102B, provided grape named G Red, and he provided, or this person provided 178 kilograms. Close. Yes, I want to save. The third question, the third query is build a query that given an owner of a grape, given the ID of a grape supplier of a member provided by the user, returns the wine productions for which this person supplied grapes. Moreover, the query returns the corresponding year in ascending order and the quantity in kilos. So the values in the tables are in tons, we have to convert in kilos by multiply by 1000. So create query wizard. Okay. So here we need first of all the table members, member ID. Then the table, or maybe from the table grape supplying, we use the member ID there. Then from the table wine production, sorry, from table grape supplying again. We need the quantity. And then from table wine production, we need the wine ID, or better, the wine name. No, the wine name is not here. So the wine production, sorry, it doesn't ask the wine name, but the wine production and the corresponding years. Okay, wine production ID and production year. Sorry. Next, Q03. Modify the query design. Finish. Okay, so first of all, the owner must be must be asked to the user. So square bracket provide member ID. Okay, then we have the quantity, the wine production, and then the corresponding year. We have to make it ascending, sort everything by production year. And then quantity, however, this is in tons, so we don't want to use it. We want to use to modify it in kilos. So we have to create a virtual field, quantity in kilograms, that is square brackets, quantity multiplied by 1000. And we do not display this field, we display the field quantity. So run, one member could be M001A. Okay, this is empty. So let me check here in grape supplying any member. Sorry, it's M101A. Sorry, I don't want to see this field, but Q03, design view, rerun, M101 underscore A, and this is also empty. So what is, okay, so let me retry. I was mistyping the member ID. So run M101A without underscore. Okay, so you see that this the member ID identified by that member ID provided grapes in 2009, 2010 for these 3 wine productions. The wine production are sorted by year, and then you have the quantity in kilograms. Okay, so right click, save, close the grape supplying table, and let's go back to our exercise. So we are at point number 4, Q04. Build a query that shows the hectoliter produced each year for each regional wine ordered by hectoliters. So create query wizard. Okay, so we need first of all the regional wine name. Then for each regional wine, we want the wine production. Okay, so we can put the year ID, the year and hectoliter, so we can discriminate between the different productions. Next, and this must be, the outputs must be sorted by hectoliters. Next, so we call this Q04, modify the query design, finish. and then we just have to sort ascending by hectoliters. Run. Okay, so this is the result. Save and close. Okay, so now query number 5. Build a query that compares the yearly quantity of grapes supplied by each vineyard, but considering only the grape harvest made in September. So we need, for each vineyard, we need the reference that is in the member table and what they supply every year. So the grape name, the grape harvest year, and the quantity. Sort in ascending order by vineyard and year. Okay, so this seems a little bit articulated. So create query wizard. So we need from table member, we need the vineyard reference. And then from the table grape supplying, we need the grape name and the quantity. The grape name and the quantity. Then we need to extract, we need the month of the harvest, but that we derive with the virtual field, and then we also need the year of the harvest, but that again with we can derive that value from the using a virtual field. So next, this is Q05, modify, finish. Okay, so we have these two tables. So we can add year of harvest and for that we can use the builder, because just to be sure what functions we have to use. So we have for sure the function date. No, sorry. The function date, and then if we browse the database from the table grape supplying, date grape harvest. Okay. There is an error because wrong number of arguments. Sorry, it's not the function date. Sorry. Yes, I know that there is an error. It's not the function grape, the function date, but it is the function year that I have to use. Okay. And then I need the month of harvest. Okay, and that is, can apply the function month on the field date grape harvest. Date grape harvest. Close. Okay. So let's run the query to check that the two virtual fields actually returns what I need. So here are harvest, amount of harvest. Okay. So let's go back to the design view. Okay. Then I need to consider only the harvests in September. So I have to put a criterion the month. That is 9. Okay. Then I want to sort in ascending order by vineyard. So I sort here, and then by year. So I have the grape name, grape harvest year, and the quantity. Quantity, okay. I don't want to display the month. Run. Okay. So I have these vineyard references, the grape name, quantity, sorted, sorry, by vineyard reference, and then by year. You see here San Magdalena, there are 2009, 2010. Close. Then query number 6, build a query that returns all the wine productions for which the cellar master is a member of the winery. So this is a little bit tricky because you see that in the wine production there is a field cellar master that is actually with a relation one-to-many with the member ID. So it means that here the value seller master can be a member ID. So to resolve this problem, I simply have to select the two tables, and then Access automatically will select only the entries in wine production for which seller master is a member ID. So create query wizard. Okay. The AccessExe just asks for the wine productions. It doesn't ask for the ID of the member. So I have to select wine production ID, then table member ID, next Q06, finish. I don't want to display the member. Okay, let's do a run with the member. So run. Okay, now we can check in the wine production table. Okay, you see that actually all the values, there is a, for all entries there is a seller master, so this is exactly the same. Q6 is exactly the same as that. Okay, anyway, design view, because I don't want to display the member ID. Save and then close. Let's close also this table. So we have again 2 points for this part A. Build a query that returns name, surname, and address of members with a role in the winery administration. Okay, this is very simple. Basically, we only need the member table, so name, surname, address, and then we have to put a constraint on role, a criteria role. So create. So you have to do this. We can go through the query design. Can show you another approach. So the query design, I just select the member table. Can close this one. Then from the member table, I select the field's name, just dragging, surname, address, role, role, and then criteria, quotes, administration. Okay, let me check in the member tables that administrator is actually the correct role. Administrator. Okay. Save Q07. Okay. Double click, and there we are. So last point of this part, build a query that returns the regional wines that have an alcohol content less than 5. So again, if you check on, okay, I forgot to close this query. Let's close the members, the member table. So you see that in regional wine there is the alcohol content. So again, this query involves a single table. So create query wizard. Okay, table regional wine, wine name, alcohol content. Next, we call it Q08, modify the query design, finish, and then the only thing that we have to do, we have to add a criteria larger than 5 in the alcohol content. The exercise doesn't specify, sorry, less than 5. Less than 5. So the exercise doesn't specify whether we have to display the alcohol content or not, so I leave the flag in the show field, run, and we have only 1 milliliter of cow. Okay, I guess these are fake numbers, so, but anyway. So save, close. So this completes the part A. Now we can move to part B, where we have summary queries. Okay, so let's now consider part B. Actually, the first query of part B is not a summary query, so it should have should have been a previous part, but we can do it now. So build a query that for each wine production in 2010 and with more than 2000 hectoliters returns the grape supplier owner member and the number of months from the grape harvest date to now. So let's go back to our Access, create query wizard. Okay. So we need from the table wine production, we need the production ID, we need the year and hectoliters. Year because we want to consider only 2010, hectoliters because we want more than 2000 hectoliters. And then from the table grape supplying, we need the member ID. Okay, and then the different in months will be we can use a virtual field to compute it. Next, next. This is Q09, modify, finish. So we have to consider only year 2010, hectoliters larger than 2000, and then month diff. So we create a virtual field month diff using date diff quotes m, it's in months, between the date grape harvest field and the function date returns the date of the day. Okay, so there is an error. So let me open it in the builder. You see that I have to use semicolon and not comma. Here you see in the prototype here, so I replace comma with semicolon. Okay, and then I can run. Save, close. Yes, I want to save the query. Then the next one is actually a summary query. So I want to compare the wine productions of 2010. So for each wine production, we want to return the wine in 2010, the wine name. So it will be probably a wine name in that year. The area of production, the produced hectoliters. So this is everything from the produced hectoliters and the cellar master. They are in the wine production table. The total quantity of grapes received for their production. The number of suppliers of the member involved. Sorry. The number of suppliers involved. This for 2010. Okay, so we have to select a lot of fields. So create query wizard. Okay. So from the table wine production, we have the production ID, the production year, and the cellar master. Hectoliters, sorry, and cellar master. Then in the table regional wine, I have the wine name in the area of production. Then I can change the order, but I think it's fine. And then from grape supplying, I have the quantity and then the owner. Next, so rather than selecting immediately the summary, let's go through the summary option. Let's go create the query first of all as a select query, and then we convert to summary. So this is Q10. Sorry, Q10. Modify the query design, finish. So you have all the fields. I click on the totals button to convert it in a summary query. So we have production ID group. Okay. Here I have to select where criteria 2010, and I don't want to display, okay, because I want to select only the wine production in 2010. Hectoliters, cellar master, wine name and wine area. So maybe we can move the column with the wine name. Sorry, I can't at the very beginning. So we have the production ID, the wine name, also the production area, and then we have the data, no? Hectoliters, seller master. Quantity, I don't want to group, but I want to sum, okay, all the quantities. And owners, I want to count. So run, okay. So I have the production ID of 2010, the wines, where they are produced, hectoliters, the cellar master, the sum of the quantity of the grapes produced, and the number of members who provided grapes for those productions. Okay, so save and close. Then the final summary query is very articulated. So again, we have to consider the wine production of 2010. We have the wine name and the area of production, so it's the same. And then the total amount of money the winery had to pay to its members for the supplied white grapes. So we have to consider only the white grapes. Consider that in that year, 2010, the price of the white grapes was €1.25 per kilo. Remember that the values in the tables are in tons. Okay, so create query wizard. Okay, so here there are a couple of ways to do it. And one way we create a virtual field with the total quantity. Another way we compute the sum of the quantity with an expression, because since we need to create to compute something, we need to use the option expression, and then in that case we can make a sum of an expression. Anyway, let's see. We have the wine production ID. Then from the table original wines, I have the wine name and the area of production, and then the total cost. So this is in the grape supplying, so I need also the grape supplying table. Okay, so let's see what happens if I do this. So production ID, wine name, and area of production. Next, I call this Q11, modify, finish. Okay, so I convert in totals. I am missing the production here because, so I drag the production here. Where 2010. Okay. Now, if I add here the table, the field, you see I don't have the quantity of grapes, so I need to add the table. So the table with the grape supplying, show table grape supplying. Then I drag the quantity, okay, and I convert it to sum. Okay, now I can compute the sum of the quantity, but if I want to compute an expression, quantity multiplied by, I have to use the expression function here. So basically I can't do it in one single step. So I have to create a virtual field, total quantity. Okay, so let's run this one. So I can't do as I did in the previous exercise, I have to create a virtual field. Okay, so you have the total quantity. And then I can compute the total cost, that is dot quantity field, virtual field. So with the script, sorry, multiply by 1000, multiply by €1.25, €1.25. Okay, and this is expression. I don't display the total sum, the total quantity, but I need it to solve the exercise. As an alternative, I could have used the sum function on quantity and then multiply by. So run. Sorry, I mistyped something, I think. Okay, yes, I was mistyping the formula. So total cost, total quantity multiplied by 1000 multiplied by 125 expression. Then another thing that we have to add is we have to consider only the white grapes. So we assume that in the name of the grapes there is the word white, if it is white grape. So grape names, expression, like quotes star white star asterisk. So run. Sorry, not expression, but where. Sorry, where. Let's display it. I don't display the total quantity. Run. Okay, sorry, yes, right. I can't display a field where there's a where function. Run. Sorry, again, I have the same problem as before. I don't know what happened. Yeah, no, the problem is that I have to display the total quantity field, otherwise Access doesn't calculate it, so in the total cost function, the total quantity is not there. So run. Okay, so you have these two productions and the total cost in euros for these two wine productions. So save and close. So this part completes the sorry. This exercise completed the part B on summary queries, and now we have the left part C on forms and reports. So the first exercise of part C is on forms. So F1, build a form to view wines with their production. Lock the form to avoid wines deletions. So let's go back to our hatches. We have also for forms, we have a form wizard. So let's select from the table regional wines, the wine name, area of production, type, alcohol content. And then from the table wine production, production year, hectoliters, and cellar master. Next. Okay, we want to arrange the form by regional wine, so that's correct with subforms. Next. Data sheet, it's fine. Next. We call it F1, and the other one is the name of the subform is F1 subform. We want to modify the form design. So finish, because then we have to open the property sheet, select the data tab, allow deletions, select no. Save, datasheet view. Okay, so we have the wines. Okay, all the wines with the production. So for Nero d'Avola we have two productions, and so on. Overall 9 type of wines. Okay, so let me delete this queries, these reports that no other there. Okay, so then save and close F1. Okay, so the first report, we have to build a report display grouped by member, year by year, the wine productions for which the member is cellar master. So when we need to create a report, we can't introduce constraints when we build a report. So in order to introduce the constraints, we have first to create a query, and then we can create the report on that query. So basically the report is a way to display to end users the result of a query in a more understandable way. So let's go to our access document. So here I have to consider the member member ID, I guess, production year, wine production ID for which the member is a cellar master. So we did already an exercise like this. So create query design. We did already an exercise like this. So we need to select the query member, the table members and the table wine production. The two are connected because are linked because we have the seller master is sometimes a member ID. So the field that we need, sorry, computer is tired. I dragged it twice. So the fields that we need in this report is the member ID, production year, because then I want to sort by year. And the wine production ID. Okay. Okay. So we can run this query. Oh, or better, save it as R1. So report 1, yes. We run the query. So we have again the member ID. Sorry, I must have mistyped something. So open the design view. Okay, so I dragged twice the production ID. So I have the production ID and the production year. Okay, so let's save it again. Run. Okay, so production ID and production year. Now I can create a report, create a report wizard. So I take the fields from R1, member ID, year, and production ID. Next. By member ID, then next, I want to add also year. So member by for each group name member, year by year. Next, I don't want to sort, the exercise doesn't ask me to sort anything. So next step, the name is report 1, finish. Okay, so I have the member, production year. So see, we have member M101A, we have the production years, okay, and the production ID. Save, close. Can close also this query. Okay, the final point is build a report to display wine by wine, considering only those wine with alcohol content smaller than 8%. The seller master in alphabetical order. So seller master means that I need name, surname, and others maybe. So again, also in this case, I need a query because I want to select the constraints on the number on the alcohol content. So first of all, I create query using query wizard. So here I want regional wine, wine name, alcohol content. Then from the table members, I need the name, surname of the members. Okay. Next. I call this R2, modify, finish. So here on the alcohol content, I have to put a constraint large, smaller than 8. So I have the wine name, and surname. Run, so wine name, alcohol content, name and surname. Save, close. Now I can create a report, create report wizard. So from this new query R2, I need a wine name, the name, and surname. Next. So they are grouped by name. I don't want to add any other grouping. I want to sort by surname and then in case by name. Next. Block. I prefer the block layout. next, R2, finish. Okay, so I have the wines and the Cell Masters for all the productions. Okay, so this exercise completes exercise 6.2, and that's it.